Hello everyone, my name is Loveleen Kala, and in the upcoming videos we'll be learning how to build a DNS server. So let's start by understanding some of the basics. So first, what does DNS stand for? DNS stands for domain name system. Now one might wonder, why do we even need it? So every time I want to connect to a website, I need to know its IP address. So what the DNS server does is this: it fetches me the IP address of that website. So in order to connect to a website, I need to connect to the DNS server. Now we have also heard about HTTP, and then we have DNS. So like, what is the difference? Why do we need DNS? So HTTP is text based and DNS is based on bits and bytes. So in HTTP, we are easily able to understand what's happening. Whereas in DNS, we can't understand binary. So in order to understand how this server communicates, we need some packet sniffers. So in this case, we'll be using Wireshark. We'll be learning more about it in the upcoming videos. Now another thing about DNS server is, in order for it to work, it needs a transport protocol. We have been aware about TCP or UDP. Now which protocol does DNS server prefer? So let's understand the difference between TCP and UDP. So TCP requires a connection to be built, whereas UDP is connectionless. TCP ensures that all the packets that have been sent will be received, whereas UDP doesn't provide us with that guarantee. Another difference between TCP and UDP is that it works for more overhead, like when we are sending a lot of packets. So for DNS, we'll be going with UDP essentially because it is connectionless. Now some of the other important things. Let's talk about the library that we will be using. So library that we will be using for writing the code is socket library. So it has a lot of predefined functions that we'll be using in our code. Another thing is the port, which is 53. So the DNS server works on port number 53. So we'll be using this in our code. And another thing that is loopback IP. So in order to understand and for testing purposes, we use this loopback IP, which is 127.0.0.1. So we'll be using this as well. So summarizing everything that I just said, DNS server is used for us to connect to a website, and it requires packet sniffers. It works on UDP protocol. The library required is socket. The port is 53 and the loopback IP is this.